Whenever I use PTE, it's for three basic reasons: one to produce an AV, one to produce a talk, and one to produce a video. And for me to quickly change between each one, I use templates. So if we go into File, Templates, you can see the three templates that I've set up: new AV, new talk, new video. So let's click on new AV, and if I now go into the project options, I will see all the options that it's set up for me. What you have to do is to set these up first off and then save it as a template. So here are the actual settings that I've chosen for my AVs. I actually use an aspect ratio of 16:10. This is a personal preference. You could use, for instance, 16:9 if you're doing widescreen. I leave this as a default of 6 and solid color. When I go to audio, that again is blank. The important one down here is down the bottom here. You've got convert tracks to MP3 for XE, and this considerably reduces the file if you've actually used Wave or something like that for your sound. When we go on to control, nothing is ticked on here. The important one on here is the mouse cursor, which you can see you've got three options. It is important to put hide so the cursor never appears during your AV. And the other important one is to ensure that navigation isn't ticked, otherwise you'll get a timeline running along the bottom. Transitions, don't do anything with that. Screen, again, don't do anything with that. Ensure that it's full screen up the top there. Defaults, don't do anything with that. When we come on to advanced, you need to tick the synchronize soundtrack and slides and have ticked pause when slideshow window becomes inactive. Having set all that up, you then click OK. Now you need to set that up as a template. So what you do is to go to File, Templates, create a template from this show. Click on that, type in a suitable title. You see here I've got new AV. Click OK, and that is that first preset that you set up. Right, if we now go to a new talk, this is if I'm giving a talk where I want to step through each slide. These are the project options that I set up for this. So again, main is still, in my case, 16:10 ratio. Everything else stays the same. Audio, I don't bother about converting that on this because I'm actually doing the voice live. Control, now again, these are the important ones. You need to tick, wait for the key, press space or right click to show the next slide. Click on the permit controls. Now the next important area is you can set up what you want to happen with the left mouse button. So you tick on there, you can see all the various things that you do. I find the obvious one for the left mouse button is to go towards the next slide, and for the right mouse button I want to go back to the previous slide, so I can toggle between the two if necessary. Again, it's up to you what you're going to do in your talk. If you're going to use the cursor, then you need to switch it on, but typically I have it in hide. Again, we don't have any navigation. Transitions, you see, leave that the same. Screen, leave it, make sure it's full screen. Defaults, don't change any of those. Advanced, the only one I've got ticked on here is pause when slideshow becomes inactive, and do not run for the last one. Click OK to that. I've now set up my options for a talk, so I need to go to templates, create a template, and I call it new talk as distinct from a new AV. Say OK to that. The final template that I've got is for video. And again, if we actually look at the project options I've set for this, go back to main. Now I'm using 16:9 for widescreen for television use. Leave everything else the same. Audio remains blank. Control, just make sure everything is clicked off. You're not going to use any of this for when you're running your video. Transitions, leave that. Screen, full screen. Whenever I'm doing a video, I like to have a watermark shown, so I've ticked the box and then I'll point that to where the PNG file is for the watermark, and you can see I've got an offset of 10. This is down to you where you want it to be on the screen. Right bottom, opacity of 100, and size I typically use 9.6. Defaults, that stays the same. The advance, again, tick the synchronized sound, and the pause the slideshow when window becomes inactive, say OK. So again, I go to templates, create a new template, and I call that new video. And that is really what templates is all about. Very simple, but it's a quick way of, when you start a new AV show, that you go into templates and use the particular template which sets up all the options for, depending on whether you're going to do a talk, an AV show, or a video. Cheers for now.